Good morning. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we always have one of our favorite guests. Whoops, I almost made a mistake and messed up there. And like, what? One of our favorite co-hosts, Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. How you doing, Karen? I'm Carolina from California Cover Ups, and I'm joined by my co-host and producer, Miss Francine Gregory, all the way from Sacramento, California. She is a real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, and she's running all this wonderfulness in the background, taking us to all kinds of platforms. Hi, everybody out there on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. We're live and we're here for you. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get your money straight in your business and in some cases in your personal life. Because if you don't have it straight over here, you're not going to have it straight over there. So today we're talking sales. And if you're in business, you need to tune in and listen, get a pencil and pad because Coach always has something significant to say. So with that, I'm going to introduce to some, present to others, Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. How you doing, Coach?
I am great. I'm great. Thanks for the intro, as usual. Larry does me well.
I enjoy calling
I'm
out
good.
these
I'm
international
good.
guests.
We've got 2 months left for the year to be ended. And why not talk a little bit about sales right here, right now? I was looking back at my notes as I prep on Monday for today. And because I did a segment, you guys know, and if you were here, you were following along, for the last 4 weeks, I was really talking about money battles, the inner money battles, and what happens. And I was prepping you because that's why you're not selling. And I look back and I did talk about sales. And I'd spoken about sales before. So it's not new here. The best chick know I do a few and then I talk about sales. I do a few and I talk about sales. And the reason I keep tonguing and talking about it is because one of the most frightening thing in business is to sell. I understand, I know it. It's paralyzing to open your mouth and tell somebody about something you can do for them. Now, if you were giving it to them and there were no exchange, you would do it. But when it comes to asking, because sales is asking for something, and we don't like to ask. Okay, so if somebody would say, I'll buy from you without asking, you'd sell them. But the minute you have to ask, you don't want to. Every fiber in your being, there's this kind of nervous system that take over and take place inside of you and start shutting you down one step at a time. You ever see those robotic things, how when you pull a plug, what start happening? Well, inside of you, this is what's happening to your body. And eventually, if you got brave enough to actually utter the words and you haven't practiced, what happens is you start saying, well, I can give you 10% off. Maybe just give me $20. You know what, girl? I know you. I'm going to take $25 and we're going to be fine. And you walk away and you're like, I can't believe I just did that. And then if you are a talker, you call up a whole bunch of people and say, this person didn't want to pay me for my worth. When you even give them a chance to. I mean, I've been in scenarios where I watch this happen and I'm singing to the person I want to finish them, just say. But they were feeling so depleted that they couldn't say. And so that's why sales is really, really so important. Now, before I even dive in today, I'm gonna advertise myself a bit here. Yes. I am started in a program called the 4-Hour Workday. And in that program, in the last 2 weeks and the bonus weeks, we are going to play a role play in sales. And the reason I'm bringing that into the course, I'm going to take a good chunk out of the program. It's because I want people to get into the active mood of selling, because I know how crucial it is for your business. And I know how there's such a need for it. The other part of this program is about productivity. That's going to lead you into working efficiently. And the third part of the program is really showcasing to you how the things you do on social media, the things you do on marketing, how you put it all together and how you get the sale. So it's really broken down truly into three parts. And we work off of your calendar, wherever you are. You want you to understand, I know that your first job is you or your family, whatever that is, whatever that look like for your dynamics. That's the first job you have. Your second job is if you went to work. And if you didn't went to work, then your second job really and truly is the business that you're forming or you want to form. And then you have to go to work in that business as the technician first. I get it.
Mm.
And most people try to either get away from it or think they don't have to do it. And then they're in pickle. So the technician do a lot of work. And that means you work on your business as a job until you can work. You work in your business as a job until you can work on your business. And although it seems hard, although it seems at times you don't have enough time, you have enough time that you need it. You're just wasting a lot of time. Nobody want to say that. Nobody want to hear it, but you're wasting a lot of time.
I'm not sure I understand the difference between working in your business and on your business.
Okay. So working in your business, let me explain that part since Terry brought it up, right? Working in your business, you are the technician. So I'm going to give two
Oh,
examples of two separate businesses,
gotcha.
a product and
So
a
you're
service.
the employee.
Yes, you're the employee. You're the employee.
Gotcha.
Right. So for Terralina, she is working in her business when she's making her cover ups. When she's sewing and cutting the pattern, getting the stuff, she's working in her business.
Mm-hmm.
She's working on her business when she's doing the marketing because that's what CEO does. That's what company owner does. They work on the business by doing the stuff. Now I know they got a marketing division, but that marketing division still have to bring it for approval. So even though they're not doing the intricate, eventually they still have to do a lot of proving, a lot of signing you see in those movies they show you.
Mm.
Same goes. And then a lot of the sales, yes, you have a sales department, but you are still facilitating the sale. When you go to a party, a function, and you're talking about your company, you're really in the pipeline, even though it mightn't seem to be because you're not directly asking for the money. Somebody's going to contact you, somebody's going to send you the email, somebody's going to do that. But the CEO is still schmoozing and talking. He's still part of the sales bundle in his way. And sometimes people don't even look at it that way. But you're still doing that when you're snoozing. If you're playing hockey, if you go and you play um, uh, what Tiger Woods played, because that's what makes me remember
Golf.
golf. All the while you are schmoozing and you're selling whatever you do. Most people don't see that as sales because they're just thinking the person's hanging out and they're getting contact. That's part of the
Yeah.
sales fight. It's part of sales that make people remember you. Part of sales is your marketing when you go to meetups and you talk and meet with people and you tell them what you. That's part of your sales. Sales is all true. Not really tricky, but tricky in a sense because if you're not thinking about it that way and you start thinking about sales is hard and sleazy and it's not good, then you also, when you turn up at those places, you're not your full, confident, beautiful self. You're shrinking into nothingness. And so you can't perform. So that's just part of
Mm.
it.
Okay.
All right. Did I explain this well?
Yeah, that was good. Okay.
Good, good. So one of the things we're going to look at today is it takes time. I'm not gonna lie, it's slow and it takes time if you haven't sold, and I mean really sold yet. Not somebody call you or you was lucky to be at a place and you sell something. Like really and truly, if you're setting up your business to be prosperous, and you guys know I love talking about numbers. So if you were saying I want to reach $5,000 every single month, I ask you to give yourself 90 days to accomplish this. And even if you only made 2,000, but give yourself the 90 days. And here's why. You have to learn a lot of things and you have to stay focused and consistent. So for the first 30 days, I like to tell people nothing is happening because your brain is used to the scatteration, I call it. Maybe it's not a word, but the scatteration.
I love it.
You are scattered all over the place. And while you're scattered, more people bring you more information that sounds great and juicy, but it's not really good and juicy. It just seems that way. And it seems like you should be doing it because, of course, it's part of what I need to do. But it's not true because you're just focusing on this specific thing. So let's say, for example, you were focusing on Facebook. And Facebook
Mhm.
is where you were going to run your ads. Facebook is where you're going to be social with people. I'm not saying you mustn't have the rest of social media because part of the course, I am teaching the rest of the social media parts. But this would be your main focus. And the reason you want to focus there is because you want to learn it well. You want to learn it like you can wake up and say, I can run this ad because I'm only looking to attract audience to bring them to my group. And after that, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But all these things were planned out. So you're good. Then let's say you're going to Twitter. You got Facebook in your back pocket. So you understand You also have to understand why you're going to Twitter. Let's say you focus, your main business want to focus on Google ads and Facebook ads. You need to know those
Okay.
two avenues, because those two avenues is what bringing in your money. And you got to focus on them. You can't go away all over the place scattered. Oh, LinkedIn have good news now. No, you got to really stay focused. And it takes time. And that's why I said it's a slow build, but it's a good build. Terry, did you disappear on me? Ladies, are you hearing me? Terry's frozen. Fran, let me see if they hear me. If I'm still on. Okay, Fran, Sam, okay. All right, so maybe it's just Terry frozen. So number one is, as I speak about a little bit, is a timeline and what to expect during the process. What you need to know through the sales process is that you might get lucky and somebody might have bought something for you because you were referred to or recommended, but you can't stay and focus on that. That really spins back to my money principle, where you can't work with what's in your pocket, but you have to work for what the future is going to hold for you. So same goes for sales. It might get lucky and that's okay, but your job is to really work on your marketing plan so that you can fulfill the sale at the end of the tunnel, because sales is really, as they say, a funnel, which means it starts off wide and it ends off very slim, which means there's less people coming through the pipeline. So you have to constantly have it filled. Now, constantly don't mean that you have to always be doing a whole bunch of work. It means you have to set it up right so that it keeps working for you. The repetition, the system building, right? That you needs to be putting in place. And it's a process and it takes time. It takes time to map things out. If you were building a home and you really want it structured, sound, and look beautiful, and you call in a designer, you still need to get an architect in there. You still need to get the planning commission to give the permits. You need all these things happening. And so, if you, like me, love to watch HGTV and you see it happen in half an hour, it probably took them a year to get all of that done. So, it takes time. And I like to tell people, if you're starting your business, just keep in mind that it's going to take you a year for you to feel somewhat that you really own a company. At some point in the year, you're going to say, I actually own a company. But the first couple of months, you're everywhere. You can't believe you're actually doing this. And if you are scattered, then it's going to take you longer than a year. But it takes time, and give and allow yourself that time. Okay. And understand. So, number two is stages. How many is to you need to acquire to get the desired amount? It takes stages. It takes stages. So you got to know, or seasons, if you will, what stage or season you are in to be able to function at your utmost, which is the 90 to 100% I like to talk about. Because if you're in the stage where you're really starting off, you're really functioning at the 40, 60 at the most, even if you know what you're doing, because you're doing a lot of second guessing. And when you're second guessing, you can't work at 100%. It is hard, because every time you second guess yourself, you're breaking it down. If you know firmly and you're knowing what you're doing and you do it, not only knowing, but actually do it, then it kicks you up to that 90. And what that does is make you feel more confident and you can keep doing. All right. I'm going to take a sip of water
Okay. The signal's back. The signal's back. Thank you. Okay, so I got number two, staging. What was one? I'm sorry.
here. One was the timeline and what to
Timeline.
expect during the process.
Okay.
Mhm. And number two was the stages, and how many stages you need to acquire the desired amount of money you want to make in your business. You really need to know how much stages it take, how much points you have to touch, which that means, if I was to break it down, how many people, like I knew I needed to reach 1,000 people to get 2 sales, and that was the flyer. So you also need to know what you're using to be able to acquire your people. So for social media, how many touches you need to make a sale. How, when you do, if it's a webinar you're
Mm-hmm.
doing, if you're bringing people in your group, if you're doing lives like we do a lot of, Like, what does it take for you to get a client? And when you get your first client, if you're paying attention, you would know. So you know how many times you have to do the same thing to gain a client. Now, over time, you need less time. But in the beginning, you need to know these things. You need to know where you're at. Because if you can't track, you can't make. If you're not tracking, you're not making,
Mm.
or at least staying on course to make the number you want. When somebody says, I'll make $1 million this year, I'm like, yeah, so how are you doing it? And they're like, well, no, there's no well, what are your plans to make this $1 million this year? And is it true that you're going to make 1 million this year, or is it going to take you 2 to 5 years to make $1 million? Because if
Mm.
$1 million is gross, you didn't make $1 million. The company made $1 million, but you didn't make $1 million. So you have to know which one you're talking about.
Mm.
So, any questions for me?
Mm. No, I don't. I'm
Okay.
looking over here. I don't see any in the chat, so we're
Okay.
good. Uh-huh.
All right. So number three. Oh, okay. So number three is dedication.
Ah, okay.
Big one. It's dedication. Dedication. What will it take to see it through? You have to be dedicated to the process. If you don't want to be in sales, you got to close your shop. And then I get the question, well, why don't I just hire a sales rep? Well, the sales rep really can come in and help you run your business. One, and they can't sell for you unless you have developed something that you can talk to them about, that you
Mm.
can give them to go forth with. Most salespeople, most excited salespeople that want to sell will go research and figure it out. But what if they're researching and figuring out the wrong thing for you? And that's not what you want. So you're not going to get the right people. And I'll tell you why. There was a friend of mine had hired a kid from school, and he was so excited, and all he wanted to do is help her sell. He was excited to be in sales. He's one of those rare people who love sales, okay? And she was happy because she hated it. And I said to her, he needs 3 weeks at least minimum to come in and understand your organization, what you do, and how he's going to sell this thing. Because without that, you're going to be in a lot of shambles. Then I said, you need to
Mm.
find a lead technician, because this was computer software stuff. You need to find a lead technician, and the guy needs to spend at least 3 days to 5 with this man, walking around with him, seeing the kind of work he does, so that when he go on a sales call, he can talk intelligently to the people you're trying to reach. She says, Karen, we don't have 3 weeks for all of that. I'm going to let him study the binders. He's going to figure it out. He's going to sell for us. And he did. He did sell for them, but not to the right people. And not to the people who could pay the kind of money that they needed.
Ah.
No, he did sell to people, but not the people. They look after big establishments and walk-in clinics and that sort of stuff. And he was selling to people who have a little office and who, yes, can use them, but going to pay, maybe $300 to $500. No, they were in the thousand lines. He wasn't selling to those high-end people, which it's a long sales cycle. But when they buy, they buy. We're talking anyway upwards from $20,000 to $100,000 they'll buy from you. He wasn't selling to those people because he
Mm.
had the background to be able to, even though he was excited. And I think he started feeling like he wasn't doing a good job. He felt a lot of different things. And by the time she talked to me again, because she's a little embarrassed, but by the time we talked again, she said he's leaving because he's going to help his dad on the farm because this is what he used to and he knows how to sell that. Whether true or lie, but if you're not helping the person to feel good about themselves, they're not going to stay because they want to know they're doing good. Listen, the money is great, but people actually want to know that they're doing good at what they think they are good at. And you can't
Oh,
take that away from them.
okay. So then, the what I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you want to keep good salespeople or good employees, they need to know that they're appreciated
Yes.
and that you are investing in them by training them
Yes.
and trusting them with access to other parts of the company.
Yes. Yes. Because I think had
So,
she done that, she had one heck of a guy on her hand. And he was straight
mhm.
commission. That's why sometimes people said, I don't have people do straight commission. He was straight commission. When he realized that he could be making more money also if he was hitting the right target and doing the right people compared to the people he was hitting. when he recognized that. I'm sure it did a blow to him, but he was too young to be able to verbalize it to me in the way that he should to her. Because some kids, they might be good at certain things, but and I met him. He was a little shy. So even though he
Hmm.
was shy, he was excited about what he could do. But maybe he was just shy around the boss and the boss's friend. Maybe that was what it was. But it hampered that process. That could have been a sweet something. That's my point. It could have been a sweet something. So if you're gonna hire people for sales, if you're really truly afraid of it, and you still need to learn it, by the way. Just gonna say. Setting
Well,
out.
you're gonna have to train somebody, and if they are a novice, also, you need to have some
You
information.
need to. You need to.
Also, sales is about how someone's going to represent your company,
Yes.
and they need to know what your company culture is,
Hmm.
what it is that you're really trying to achieve
Hmm.
through the service or the product.
Hmm.
And if you don't share the heart of the company, the purpose, the mission, whatever it is that's making you do this thing with the people that represent you, then they can't convey that message to your customer,
Yes.
because that's what's going to set you apart. Does
Exactly.
that
Exactly, friend. Exactly,
okay?
Terry. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to set you apart because sometimes also people think if it's something you do that's cool, like computer, you're offering a computer service to people. It's not that touchy feely, but it is because they learn over time. And I keep telling them, I said, it is. Here's why. The frontline woman is frustrated that she can't get emails out and all these contracts out because the computer crashed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your people is like God sent to them when they appear. So yes, a touchy feely. They feel warm when the guy walk in and he says, "Listen, ladies, go get a coffee. By the time you come back, I'll have you ready." They want to hug the guy. They're happy he's there. No question. He came and saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
Clients are not backed up. They don't have to work overtime. This is all part of your unique selling for your company. This is a touchy feely thing, even though it's hardcore. And it's men because who's at the front line? Mainly
Mm.
women. Mainly women is at the front line. And that Pacific company that I'm talking about, the general manager was a woman. And she simply sent them a letter. They lost the business, everything from another incident because you might want it to be, but you have to gauge your people and you have to see where their heart lies. And
Mm-hmm.
if the front people you're touching is touchy feely people, you want to, doesn't mean you have to hug them. You just have to be understanding of what that means to be the touchy feely. That means the
Uh-huh.
tone and how you talk to them and how you greet them and how you behave when there's a crisis. That's the touchy feely part that I'm talking about. Some people need and you know it because after talking with them and how they are, you know what they need. And then you have to fill that need too. So it just depending on the company what you're dealing with. But back to a small business, that's a bigger company. But back to us small business people. And I'm referring to them, before I say this, I refer to them so you can understand that even big companies who don't pay attention to the things I am talking about also lose out, also feel it very hard. And when they have workers, employees that work for them, double the whammy because they have to still fill payroll regardless of their screw ups. They still got to pay these people. If that, they're not going to stay. And
Mm.
technicians, it's a lot of money you got to pay them for them to stay with you, period. So, us small business owners, us entrepreneurs, when we get into understanding sales and not being afraid of it, and not saying, listen, I'm going to make all this stuff, but I don't want to market it, then you're really saying to me, listen, I want to play.
Mm.
I want to enjoy my hobby. I don't really want to be in business. I want a job and I want to play. Then play. No problem. I'm not telling you not to play because I love play. But you got to play with the intention that eventually, for me to reach the people I need to reach to grow this thing, I got to learn how to sell. And first, I have to understand it takes a while. And it's okay because I need to learn some things and I need to systemize some things. And I need to
Mm.
understand. This morning, I asked this question. I said, if what you're doing is not where you want to be or you want to do, then you shouldn't do it. And it might seem hard, especially when you're really good at it. You're like, Karen, what are you talking about? Maybe that's not what you're supposed to do, even though you're good at it. So if you
Mm-hmm.
start a business, but you realize the main part, the guts, the heart and all the organs inside is not what you want to do, then you need to get out of business because the heart of it is sales. Like you gotta sell. You gotta sell. If not, you don't have a business. So if this part of you don't want to do it, then you can do that.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So, in other words, Karen, what I hear you saying is if we are truly in business, at some point there's got to be um, an ask. We're going to have to ask people
Mhm.
to buy something.
Yes.
And if we can't do that, then we need to get over it.
Yes.
We need to get some help on how to do it or how to train somebody to do it. But regardless, we have to participate in
We
the process.
Yes, we have to. We have to. If not, you're not in business, as we keep saying. And it's true. You have to sell, you have to ask. And you have to do it so often that it becomes second nature. It becomes like you're having a shower. You have to ask. You have to constantly ask. And for some people, I say ask for something very small initially and build your way up. Ask for something very small and
Well,
then work.
I know when I started, Karen, it was difficult for me, especially when people's cards, like when I would swipe their credit card, and there was no room, I would say room on that one.
Yes, yeah.
Then I had to go back and craft a language for okay, mm, um, this card doesn't seem to be processing. Would you like to use another form of
Yes.
payment?
Yes.
Okay, as opposed to I'm so embarrassed for you, and because people do get embarrassed
Yeah, yeah.
for
And then
whatever
you
reason.
don't, yeah.
Mhm. And so not knowing what you're going to say when different things occur means you can't train. If you're going to hire somebody, you can't train them to do that because you never came up with a formal or an informal uh, policy or procedure for how
Right.
to handle situations.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, see all those
Mm.
things you just have to know and deal with. I remember when a couple years ago I changed cards and I used my card. I went my son's birthday and carry him. I said, okay, I'm gonna treat you guys and la la la. And I didn't remember to what do you do when the card come? You have to call it in,
Oh, activate,
activate,
activate the
remember to activate the
yeah, because every couple of years they send you a new card.
yes.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
didn't activate the card. And I was like, crap. I mean, I stood there for a moment. I was embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie. And the girl was so generously gorgeous about it. She says, "Listen, this is something that happened." She says, "I can see that the sticker was still in the back. The thing was still in the back of the car." And she says, "Why don't we just do debit, or you can just walk, browse around, and then come back and stuff." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So I did the debit. Don't worry about it. But she was so nice about it. She was laughing and talking. She said, these things happen. It's so funny. It probably came in the mail. You didn't do anything about it. I said, exactly. Busy doing whatever. Forgot everything.
And we assumed that we had taken care of it. You know what I mean? We
That's
stick
right.
it in our purse at that point.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. Like, this is new. What are you talking about? She goes, oh, it wasn't activated. I say, all right, don't worry about it. Let's just take it out to the account. But it's hard when you don't, because she was nice. But if I didn't get somebody as nice as that person, because
Hmm.
there's I've been in line already where I end up paying for a thing for somebody because they just embarrassed the lady so badly that I just said, I'll pay for it. I just put it on my bill. I said, just put it on my bill. Just go. Because the
Yeah.
girl was just bad. But he's like, she's so awful. I'm like, yeah. And I did complain to the supervisor for her because I knew the supervisor was the grocery store. I just complained at her. I said, people are in here buying their groceries. Somebody's hungry. And she's just rude. She's just rude. I
Hmm.
don't know whether
Hmm.
they fired her or they suspended her, but we didn't see her much of her anymore.
But obviously, she didn't need to be interacting with the customers.
Yeah,
She
right?
probably upstairs somewhere crunching numbers. Because everybody is not a people person,
No.
and that's another thing that you have to consider when you're hiring people to deal with your customers.
Mm,
Are they, are they a people person?
right.
Are they too social?
Yes.
So now they're
Yes, the
spending
balance.
2 hours with one customer and everybody else is waiting in line while they're talking about sunshine and rain. You know what I mean?
Yes. And you got to know who you are. A friend of mine always said she got a cousin, and she said, Karen, she's a good worker, but she has to work the back of the line. She is extremely rude. Nothing can help her. And this is since we were young. So she cannot get a job where she's at the front line. She tried it once, and she herself knew she's just terrible. And they put her in customer service, and she's well educated, but she's just rude. Just rude. I don't know how she gets jobs.
Because some people are great in the interview and you presume that they're going to be great with your customers because they were great with you.
Yeah.
But that was 20 minutes.
Yes, that's all they can handle. That's it. That's
Give them
all.
8 hours on the floor and they are just toast. Okay.
Like I'm out. Next.
Exactly. So I think these are things to consider also.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So today we covered sales because I'm going to give a little quick recap here. Today we covered sales and we talk about the time to expect. And I like to say if something's going to take you 20 minutes, multiplied by four, and that's the time it's really going to take. Not going to take you 20 minutes. It takes more time
Okay.
when you're getting going. And so you need to give it time. Not because you don't know your stuff, you just need to give it time. Because if you're not doing it regularly, it's going to take time. And that's meaning you get your marketing and everything set up in place so that you can actually sell from the funnel. Whether it's people talk about a lot of funnel online, and sometimes people get really scared and like, I don't like the funnel. Everybody sells from a funnel. You mightn't think so, but you
I
are.
don't know what a funnel is. So I'm like, every time they start talking about it, I go, okay. I just zone out.
A funnel is exactly like the funnel, what it is. It start wide, which means you reach a lot of people. A funnel, when you go to those shows that you sell at, Terry, for instance, that's a funnel. Everybody's there big and wide, and the people who buy from you is getting shuffled through the funnel. The people who are looking, the people who are there, and then the people who are looking, that's your middle part of the funnel. And then just before it goes through that tiny poke there's the people who is a bizzering, I call it. And then the people who buy is the people who went through the tiny part of the funnel. And
Okay.
our job is to make sure we capture the information from those people so we could continuously sell to them or they
Ah,
recommend us. That's the funnel. But we makes it
okay.
really people online likes to make things so difficult that people think they can't do it. Not true.
Or that it's some kind of big secret. I,
Yes,
and here at Bitch Chicks, we do not like convoluted crap.
there
Just
you
tell me what you're talking about. Okay.
go. And do it, right? And number two was stages. How many stages you need to acquire, you desire, how many stages to get you to the dollar amount? And you need to know those stages and all that it takes for you to get there. Because if it's taking too long, you also get discouraged and you never get there. And you just swing away and do something new because you're like, this process, yeah, I cannot handle. And that's why usually a lot of people change so many different businesses, but one of the things they don't realize is every time they change a new business, new things they have to do, and all the things they were trying to get away from, they are doing it now in a different manner, which means a new learning. So the
Mm.
mind have to go in there and shift the thinking. So, once you
Ah,
plan it out, you can do it. And
okay.
then you have to dedicate. You have to dedicate. You have to have dedication, and that means you've seen it through to the end, just as I'm talking about. Don't run and go away. If you have a dying business, and I will say, because sometimes that happens. If you have a dying business because you can't see the need for the business, you can take that business and really tear it apart and see what parts of it is killing out the rest. It's like you have a plant and this thing is hanging on it, but the rest of the plant really want to grow, but this other one is just
Uh-huh.
hanging on. So sometimes it's just a part of the acquiring things that you did that is not needed. And if you took it off, it would shine again. So the business might not even be really dead or at death's door, if you will. It's just that there's parts that's holding it down. And if you can just dissect the business,
Mhm.
that's where the auditing of your business comes in. If you don't know what that is, you get in there and you just go through everything. That's the simplest way. Or look up what auditing means so you can see what it means to go in and audit. That's all it is. You're going in and dissecting. If you need another pair of eyes, that's something I do. But you really go in there, and you can do it yourself. You can go in there and just dissect, see where things are at, and really listen, because yourself will tell you about the parts that's not going great. You might want to hear it. I always say you might not want to hear it, but it's
Uh-huh.
telling you. And you go in and you fix it. It could be a person, it could be a software, it could be the processes, it could be how you're setting up yourself. And so the disappointment and the struggling is causing this strife between what you're doing. So just look at all those things and you might fix it and still be okay. Or the least of it, if you didn't want it at all, and you realize it's something I don't want to do at all, then take parts of it that really worked and now carry it over to your new venture so that
Mm.
you have this experience that you're going with. You can start over. I tell people start over is not a bad thing, but it's a hard thing because you go into I coulda, shoulda, maybe if
Ah,
I woulda, and
uh-huh.
that will you bondage. So be careful.
Gotcha. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ah, wow, coach. I just really appreciate all of the wisdom that you bring to the table,
Thank
and your ability to simplify things so that we can move forward. Uh, so
you.
we've got this TSD thing, like some people have PSD. We have TSD. We need time. We need to allow for the stages of growth, and then we need to be dedicated to what it is that we have grown over the years in terms of a business.
Yes.
So I just I'm just stunned. Okay. And it's easy to remember.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I just love how you build in those acronyms. Every time I give a talk and you build it in, I'm like, Terry, I love
It's because it's easier for me to remember.
it. Yes, yes.
And because I get maybe because I used to be a trainer, and so I
Hmm.
always had these cues in my head for how to remember things.
Right.
But I like it when you keep it where I can digest it.
Yes.
Yes. So I want you to know we really appreciate you. We want to thank you this morning for taking time out all the way from Canada to come over here and, and help us, some folks over here in the U.S. and around the globe. Guys, if you're looking for Coach Caren, you can find her anywhere on the web under Island Girl Hustle,
Mhm.
and she's starting a new program. Am I hearing an echo? And she's starting a new program over on in your Facebook group, Caren. Is that right?
The program ain't started yet. I'm in there in my group. You can come and join Island Girl Hustle Group too, because I'm in there talking a lot about marketing and sales and a lot of productivity. Because what I'm doing is just giving people little bits of what to expect. The program is not started yet.
Okay.
It's really just getting you steady and ready so that when we do start, we're going
Okay.
full throttle.
That reminds me of that little cartoon. When I came along, they had a cartoon called Rough and Ready. It's about two little puppy dogs or something. I don't know. But anyway, so we're gonna be steady and we're gonna be ready
Yeah.
to take on 2020. I love it.
Yes, yes, ready. Yeah, it's just around the corner. On last January, I remember saying earlier this year how it's gonna come and catch up on you. And if you
Yeah.
weren't doing what you're supposed to do, we're gonna be here saying, "Oh my God, I can't
But it's okay, twin. It's okay. Keep moving
believe
forward,
I'm
guys.
there." Yes.
I want to give a shout out to all of those who watched us today. To Nora and to Lisa, and Brenna was on here, and
Thanks,
all of
guys.
you who are watching on the replay. We just want to thank you for taking time out to spend some time with us today.
Mhm.
Um, we look forward to tomorrow with Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And remember, you can't keep your wealth if you don't have your health. So
Yeah.
if you want to tune in tomorrow, I want to thank you again, Coach, for taking time out and remind everybody, hey, what? Don't forget
To
to
go to
go to
the
the
front of
front
your
of
own
your
line.
own line. Have a great day. Bye bye. Thank you.